So this is the idea which you need to know to solve question number 80 from our predicted paper. See, if you see this question, see, whenever some question is hard, or I would not use the word hard, because if they are giving you 5-mark question, it doesn't mean it is hard. It would involve multiple concepts in the same question. So you have to deal with each concept at a time, and then in the end, you need to mix all those concepts, all those ideas. This is a perfect example from one of the previous exams, past papers, I mean. So you can see that there is inverse function involved, and also you can see composite function involved. So as I'm going to discuss from the fundamentals, we would discuss all different methods. So you can choose whatever the method you like. This question, I'm going to do the inverse first. Let's say, not let's say, it is given f of x is equal to x minus 9 divided by 8. Remember, whenever you see f of x, this is meaning this is y. Just it is telling that function of x. So f of x meaning it is y. So y equals to x minus 9. So if you subtract 9 from the x and divide it by 8, the output is f of x, which can also be called y. We didn't start the inverse function yet. Now we are going to start the inverse function. So inversing meaning you change y to x equals to, you change x to y minus 9 divided by 8. So you change x to y and y to x. This is the first step. Second step, you solve for y. You solve for y. To solve for y, I need to multiply both sides by 8. So I'm multiplying both sides by 8. So then it would become 8x is equal to y minus 9. And then you add 9 both the sides. So y equals to 8x plus 9. We haven't completed this yet because you need to write y as, in the end, you need to write y as f inverse of x. So f inverse of x is equal to 8x plus 9. So this is the same method for any question. Generally, students, this is in two areas they may make a mistake. First thing, they don't write f of x as y. They don't see this as y because x is in there. But this is not x. This is function of x. I'm saying function of x is y, not x. And then the second thing is they forget to interchange x to y and y to x. So this step. So remember of doing these two steps correctly, you can get it correct. And I'm going to discuss the second method here. Second method is standard method. So input. So if you remember function machines, if you're good at function machines, then this method is for you. Input, we always give, because the function is in terms of x, we give input as x. And listen to me carefully. In the end, you need to get x minus 9. I'm writing that here. X minus 9 divided by 8. In order to get x minus 9 divided by 8, you need to decide the operations here. They don't give you the operations. Obviously, you have chosen this method, meaning you need to know the operations to get this one. So you write the operations here. Suppose in this case, I'm going to subtract by 9. You write the result, x minus 9. And the next one, I need this one. So I'm dividing by 8. When you divide by 8, you need to, the division, you need to write the division for whole thing. So this is the output. So this is input and this is output. Inverse. When you're finding the inverse, the input becomes output. The input becomes output. The input is x. And then, So remember like this, when it is inverse, the output becomes input. So the input is x, the output we are taking as x, and then remember like this, in either side you start with x because you need your answer in terms of x. They're asking your answer in terms of x, either side you start with x. Now, as we are doing the inverse, we reverse the operations. As it was divided by 8, you multiply by 8, you write the result. So 8 times x is going to be 8x. And then you are going to add 9. So 8x plus 9. So this is f inverse of x. So f inverse of x is equal to 8x plus 9. In the exam, you don't need to use both the methods. You can use one of the methods, and be aware with the second method also. Sometimes they may not ask you to use the method directly, but they would miss some of the operations or some of the results. Let's say they give you this operation, they miss this result, and they ask you to write the output. So you should be aware of function machines in any case. So I'm going to discuss, we discussed inverse functions, then now we are going to discuss composite function in the next page. So we need to find gh of x. You need to find gh of x. Whenever it is a composite function, the main function is g, you're going to replace h of x. So you're going to replace h of x in the place of x. You need to replace h of x in the place of x in function g. In function g. Write the function g here. So g of x is, I'm rewriting it, 2x squared plus 9. When they say gh of x, wherever x is there, that would be replaced by h of x. We know h of x is 4x. Wherever x is there, x is replaced by, it is like substitution. X goes out of the field and 4x comes into the play. 2 equals to 2. Here x was squared. X was squared. 4x should be squared here. X was squared. We are writing 4x in the place of x plus 9. You do the simplification. This is 16x squared. You apply 4 square is 16x squared. 16x squared times 2, 32x squared plus 9. If you go back to the question, we got this f inverse of x is 8x plus 9. And then they said, I'm writing f inverse of x here. We got f inverse of x as 8x plus 9. And then we got gh of x as 32x squared plus 9. They said they both are equal. I follow their condition. 8x plus 9 is equal to 32x squared plus 9. Here, the simplification you can do in any ways. My simplification would be, I would get rid of the number first. I could see 9 is there. When I subtract 9, both sides 9 is gone. 8x is equal to 32x squared. Now you divide by x. You divide by x. No, don't do that. This is one of the common mistakes. It is tested in the exam because students generally do that. If you do that, you are missing one solution. I'm not going into detail with that, what solution you're missing and all, but be aware that you should not divide by x. Rather, you move all the terms to one side. 32x squared minus 8x equal to 0. And then you factorize. When you factorize, remember this method. First, you see what number that goes into both the numbers. Numbers and letters, deal with them separately. You can see that 8 goes into each of them. I would write x. Sorry, I would write 8. And x square and x, definitely x goes into each of them. You don't write x square because x is smaller than x square. What I mean by that is, whatever you write here, that should be either equal to one of these or smaller than that. You cannot have a bigger one. For example, 32 and 8. I wrote 8, not 32. So once you decide what you are factoring out, then remember, once you decide that, divide this. So if you divide this by 8x, so 32 divided by 8 is 4, x squared divided by x is x minus 1 equal to 0. Now, this is where I see most of the students, they struggle with. This times this equal to 0. Remember, see, when you have two numbers multiplied, and if the result is 0, understand, either one of them is zeros or both of them are zeros. Then only you get a result 0. So that's why whenever some product is 0, you say or you remember like this first bit is 0 or 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. From this you solve for x equal to 0 or x equal to 1 divided by 4. These are the answers. I will always go back and see if I answered the question or not. They asked me to solve. Yes, they asked me to solve. So I got the value of x. This idea you need to solve question number 80. And next one. As the question is in blue color, I'm going to change my color to green here. My answer is in green. A to B is 3 to 4. A increased by 5. So there are different scenarios. This is first scenario, second, third, and fourth scenario. Whenever you see the ratio, you say that the first one is 3 parts and second one B is 4 parts. In short, I would write it as 3 parts, 3P, 4 parts, 4P. A increased by 5. So 3 parts increased by 5, meaning 3P increased is addition by 5 equals to 15. Now solve for P. So 3P is equal to 10 and then P equal to 10 divided by 3. Meaning one part is 10 divided by 3. If they ask you to find what is A, you solve for that here. 3 times 10 divided by 3, which is 10, and 4 times 10 divided by 3, which is 40 divided by 3. That's how you solve these questions. Okay. You have fractions here. You can have fractions because this is not ratio of boys and girls or ratio of adults to seniors. In those cases, they have to be integers. A and B, they are just numbers. They can be fractions. Okay. And second one, if it is given A is 2 times to B, A is 2 times to B. This is completely a different example, the second one. Don't mix up, don't try to compare and contrast with first example. Second example is completely different example, nothing to do with this example. But we are using the same ratio for each of the examples. The only thing common for each of these examples is the ratio. The questions are different, okay? Nothing to do with answers. Now, in any case, A is 3 parts. So 2A, sorry, this is the question. 2 times 2B. So 2 times B is 4 parts. 2 times 4 parts, which is 8 parts is equal to 10. So 1 part is 10 divided by 8. And then you calculate what is A and what is B. And third question, sum of A and B. If you see some questions, sum of A and B. A is 3 parts, B is 4 parts. Total, sum means total, 7 parts is 35. So 1 part is 5. You can find A. in this case, A is one part is 5, three parts are 3 times 5, which is 15. B is four parts, 4 times 5, which is 20. And difference between A and B. We already said A is 3 parts, B is 4 parts. The difference is 1 part. They gave us difference is 10. Meaning one part, they gave us 1 part is 10. In this example, A is 3 parts, 3 times 10, which is 30. B is 4 times 10, which is 40. Okay, all questions are different. Don't compare your answers. Don't compare your answers. The only thing common is the ratio. I hope this is clear. And next one. The diagram shows x square plus y square is equal to 8. You need to find the tangent here. There is a standard method to find tangent. However, you need to really understand the meaning behind it. Also, they may ask you to check if 2 comma 2 lies on if 2 comma 2 lies on the circle. Whenever you see this lies on question, or indirectly they tell you this point lies on a line or curve, meaning you replace this one as x and you replace చెప్పమ్మా. ఐఎమ్ బిజీ బేబీ, నువ్వు రా ఒకసారి. You come here. This becomes y coordinate. You replace this as x and this as y. In this case, both are the same. I would replace this as x 2 square plus this as y 2 square. If I calculate that, that is equal to 8. You can say that. So this is 8 and they in the question also it is 8. Then we can confirm that this point lies on the circle. This also can be a question. And we are finding the tangent now. To find equation of a line, to find equation, see, tangent is also line. This is tangent. This is tangent. You can see that that is a line. Line equation is y equals to mx plus c. And then you replace the value of m. And then you replace y and x to get the value of c. I'm going to do the whole question now. Before I start, I would see if I have gradient. And if I have, always whenever you are finding equation of line, write this one. See if you have gradient, see if you have point. Gradient. I don't have gradient of this line, but I know that the radius and tangent, they have, the angle between them is going to be 90 degrees. By this, I know that if I know this is 90 degrees, somehow if I can find the gradient of this line, I can find gradient of this line, the perpendicular slope. Gradient of this line, you know that this is 0, 0. Gradient of this line is going to be gradient of this line is difference in y, 2 minus 0, 2 divided by difference in x, which is 1. If this is 1, gradient of this line, perpendicular line, you change the sign if you change the sign, which is negative because this was positive before, and you flip if it was in a fraction, as this is just 1, even if you flip it, it becomes 1. So gradient is -1. We know that the line is passing through 2 comma 2. So the point is 2 comma 2. Whenever I say point, the point which is on the line. So this is point on the line. Now we start the process. You replace all of them and find the value of C. I know y is 2, gradient is -1. Whenever it is minus, and if they're in multiplication, I prefer in brackets. You don't need to write that. X is 1 plus C. If you simplify this, this is -1, -1 plus C. If you add 1, C becomes 3. This is not line equation. Many students make a mistake by stopping the method here. You need to write y equals to m is -1 times x plus c. Finally, you write y equals to -x. -1 times x is -x plus 3. This is the equation of a line. If you are confused, I see there is a genuine confusion in many students. Why are we substituting values of m and values of c, but why we are not replacing values of y and x? Firstly, it won't become an equation in letters. So you cannot have all the numbers when they are asking for equation. But conceptually, if you see x comma y, this x comma y, this x and y, that represent any point on the circle. This C is y-intercept, this M is gradient. Gradient, suppose if you take a line, gradient is constant across the line. Whatever the point, 2 points you take, the gradient is going to be constant. Gradient is constant. And if you take one line that can cross y-axis at only one point, the same line, unless you draw another line, unless you move the line, one line would have only one y-intercept. This C is y-intercept. This x comma y are the points on the line. So x comma y is variable. So we are not sure what exact point to write there. So we just keep it x and y. As 3 and gradient, they're constants, you replace them because you know those particular values. So this is equation of a tangent. Method is exactly the same. You find the gradient of this one and you find the perpendicular gradient, you know the point, and you use y equal to mx plus c. And next one. Question number 89. To solve question number 89, let's say area is length times width. I wrote width as b. If it is given length increased by 10%, the moment I see increased by some percent, I use that new value equals to multiplier times old value. We don't know. There are different ways of solving this question. In the question, remember this, in the whole question, if no number is given, no number, when I say number, that is not percentage. So this is a percentage for me, that is not a number. Let's say unless they give you length is 20 or breadth is 30 specifically, you can take your own numbers. Remember again, whenever no starting values or no values are given in the question, only percentages are given or only fractions are given, because percentage is a fraction, you can take your own numbers. That is one of the methods. Or you can continue by using the letters. I'll show both the methods. Let's say in the first case, I would take my length as 10, and then my breadth as 50. I can take my rectangle breadth is bigger. I can take any number. Length is 10 and breadth is 50. If length increases by 10%, I would represent this as L dash, just to show that this is new length. Increases by 10%, meaning you multiply with 1.1. I hope you know this one. This is multiplier. So old value was 10 multiplies by, to find the multiplier, you add 100 to that and you divide by 100. So which is 110 divided by 100, which is 1.1. You add 100 to that and divide by 100, which is 1.1. This is new value, which we said L dash. L dash is going to be 11. So L dash is 11. And B dash, which is, if you use the same formula, 20 times, multiplier is going to be 120 divided by 100, which is 1.2, which is 24. They're asking percentage change in the area, meaning we need to know the previous area, which you multiply them, which is 500. You find the new area, 24 times 11. You can use your calculator. I'm doing myself. You can use calculator. This is paper 2 or paper 3. So 24 times 10 is 240 plus 24, 254. Sorry, 24 times 11. It's not 20. Oh, sorry. I'll change this to 20 then. By mistake, I took this as 20. I can change my own number. That's my choice. I hope this is clear. I hope you understand. This one is 20. This one is 20. I said this one is 20. Then it is 200. This is 254. Now change in area. So percentage change. To find the percentage change, you find the difference between them, which is 54. Difference between them, 54. Divided by always old value times by 100. The simplification, I can cancel these zeros and then 27 percentage. 27 percentage. I think there is a mistake here. So 24 times 11, 11 times 44, this is 264. This is 264. If you use calculator, you don't make a mistake. So then this would be 64. This is 32%. Sorry for a couple of mistakes here. However, from this, I would like to give you one tip for your exam. This is one of the exam taking strategies. When you are doing your questions, it's common that you may make some silly mistakes. Even I did if two silly mistakes. However, you would know if you keep on checking, if you keep on checking what you are doing in the question, or at the end of the question, give 20 seconds and see if everything was fine. Consciously actively see if everything is fine or not, then you can easily find your mistakes. Second method is L increased by 10%. You can say again the new length is 1.1 times L and new width is 1.2 times B. The previous area was L times B. If you're good at algebra, if you don't get confused among the letters, then definitely this method is for you. The new area is L dash times B dash, which is 1.1 times L times 1.2 times B. If you multiply these two, you'll get 1.32 times LB. New area is 1.32 times LB. The previous one was 1 times LB. Now it became 1.32 times LB. The increase is 0.32, which is 32%. I hope this is okay. And the next one, if we go to so it is about volume of prisms. When you have a prism, they give you this formula in the formula sheet. However, depending upon the shape, you should be able to rewrite the formula. If you see this one, the volume of this face is L times H times this W. Area of the face which you can see from the front times the length gives you volume of prism. Here, area of this triangle is half times base times height times it by H. And it can be this triangle, the prism can also be like this. Prism can also be like this, and backside the triangle, I'm not, okay, so something like this. Um, Again, half times L times B, this is length and this is breadth times by this length. If you see this one, this is the face if you see, because if you take this as the front cross section, we don't know the area of this one, but you can definitely make this one as your front cross section, which is a circle pi r square times height. Any prism, see the face, the shape of the face would be one of the familiar shapes, either triangle, square, rectangle, circle. These are the possibilities. That area times length. This is the volume for prism. And in the same question, there was an idea. There is an idea about scale factor. There is a concept about scale factor in the same question. It was tested. Let's say prism A. This is a different example. Prism A is bigger than prism B. Now, if you consider any of the lengths of prism A, let's say this one. I will take this one. The length or the breadth. I mean this height. Let's say this is height. This is breadth and this is length. Any one of those dimensions, let's say length of prism A would be equal to scale factor times length of prism B. So there is a small prism again. There is a small prism. This length times scale factor gives you this length if they are similar. If it is area, this area, I'll change the color. Let's say this area would be equal to scale factor square times area of this one. Okay, if it is volume, so it is for area, it is scale factor square. If you're finding volume of prism A, scale factor cube times volume of prism B. And now the next one, question number 90. This in paper one, predicted paper, there was one question, similar question, not exactly the same. In that question, a rule was tested, which is interior angle plus exterior angle should be equal to 180. Here also see, any polygon, poly means multi. If they have at least three sides, that is a polygon. Then, so exterior angle plus interior angle, they should add up to 180. And the first rule is exterior angle plus interior angle, they should add up to 180. And the second rule it was tested in question number 91 was If you know one exterior angle, let's say if you know this exterior angle, 360 divided by exterior angle, 360 divided by exterior angle gives you number of sides. You need to remember this rule. I'm not going too theoretical. As long as you remember this formula, that is fine. 360 divided by, in this case, exterior angle is 30, it will be 12. So you can count and see there would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There would be 12 sides. Next one, even this example. If you find, so to find this angle, if it is given, it is a regular pentagon, you get n minus 2 times 180, n minus 2 times, or you can simply, let's say, so don't worry about this example. Don't worry about this example. So the example, what I want you to remember is 360 divided by exterior angle gives you number of sides. That is question number 91. And question number 93. This question, uh, you can see that frequency is given, but frequency density is not given. Frequency density is not given. Remember the formula for frequency density. F, you can see that F, it started with F, frequency in the numerator, and divided by class width. Frequency divided by class width. You can see that 10 to 12. So there is 11 and 12. 10 is not there. In this time, there is 11 and 12. 10 to 12, you can see this is 2. And frequency is 6. Frequency density for this one is 6 divided by frequency divided by this one, 12 minus 10, which is 2. This is 3. And frequency density, I would, to draw this one, I will find the frequency density, but to draw the remaining bars, remaining rectangles here, you need to know the scale on the y-axis. If you see, they gave us the graph, but there is no scale given on the y-axis. Anyways, first I would complete the frequency density. This is 13, so 13 minus 12, 1, 21 divided by 1, which is 21. And then this is also 23. And this one still we don't know. This is frequency 8 divided by 4, which is 2. That is frequency density. This scale we can find the scale by using the existed bars which are like already we have. Let's say from 16 to 20, you can see 2. Frequency density should be 2. This is 2. You can see that this is 2. Now you can clearly see that each one in the grid, each one is 0.5, 0.5, 1, 1.5, and 2. Based on this, we can label the remaining ones. We know that frequency density for the first one should be 3. First one should be 3. You need to go 6 grids up. 1. So until here it is 5. 5.5. This is 5.5. This is 6 grids, meaning this value is 3. So 10 to 12, the graph is this one. And next, 12 to 13, we have 12 to 13 and 13 to 14. 12 to 13, the frequency density is 21. So this, if, and you know that this is, until here it is 5, because each one is, no, until here it is 2.5, because each one is 0.5, 2.5, and this is 5, 7.5, and then this is 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 17.5, 20, and 20.5, 21. So this would be this part, this whole part should be shaded for this one. And the next one, and for the next one, again, 13 to 14, this is 13. 13 to 14, frequency density is 23. So until here it is 21. If I go two grids up, 22, two more grids up, this is 23. So this would be histogram, this would be the histogram for the remaining part. This is how you draw the uh, histogram for the remaining ones. Anyways, here we don't know this frequency. We can find the frequency density between 14 to 16. You can see that frequency density, this is exactly same as this one, which we already found, that is 21. That is 21. I would use this formula. Frequency density is given. We got frequency density is 21. We don't know the frequency, and divided by class width. You know, class width is 2. So frequency is going to be, if you multiply by 2, which is 42. Okay. You can see that this bar is smaller one. This bar is a longer one. That's why it got more frequency. Okay, next one. A plus b root 3 whole square. This one you can expand this. A plus b root 3 times a plus b root 3. And when you expand this, you multiply these two, a square, and then you multiply these two, which is ab root 3, and then you multiply these two, plus I prefer writing a in the front. You can write ba, still that is fine. Ab root 3 plus this one, b root 3, b root 3 times b root 3, b times b is b square, and root 3 times root 3 is 3. Generally, we write numbers in front of the letters. Make sure that you simplify this one. This one, they are exactly the like terms. See, like terms not like terms not necessarily should have only one letter in it. They can have multiple letters. They can have more than one letter. As long as it is exactly the same, we can collect those like terms. So there is one of this and one of this. So a square plus 2ab root 3 plus b square. So this idea is required for question number 94. And the next one, see, this is equating coefficients. This part is fine. This x square and x square, you can you can see that if you remove x square, both the sides, you got a equals to 2. And then when you are equating both the sides, you look at the variable, you got x here, whatever the variable, whatever the term, when I say term, this is a term, this is a term. Whatever the term, it got x on the left side, you write that one equal to whatever the term which got x, 2abx. So the idea is you pull out the terms with the same variable. Variable is x here. So 8x and 2abx. We cancel this. So 8 equals to 2ab. From this, you already know a equals to 2. If a equals to 2, this becomes 4, and then b is equal to 2. And the third part, this is where generally students make a mistake. They simply write 4 as c. They simply write 4 as C. If you are aiming for 7 or 8, now you need to pay some extra attention, understand the idea behind it. Whatever the term you have without x, whatever the term, so this was with x square, this was with x, and this is without x, 4 equals to, you write all the terms without x. We have ab square without x and c. And 4 equals to, we already know a is 2, b is 2. If you sub in there, 2 times 2 square plus c, If you simplify this, see, you'd get -4. Okay, that is question number 94. And 102, enlarge by scale factor to center 1 comma 0. Center is 1 comma 0. This is the center. I'll take this point, I'll name them. I'll name them A, B, C. I'm writing the transformation for A. First, the distance of A from center is, you need to go, I'll change the color here. You need to go one right, and two up. I'm writing for A, I need to go one right and two up. U stands for up, R stands for right. And then for B, the transformation is again one right, two, four up. One right, four up. And for C, we need to go one, two, three, four right, and then two up. Even if you take a different route, still you can check. There will be four right and two up. And they said scale factor of 2. When they say scale factor of 2, you multiply each of them by 2. Then for A, it would become, I'm changing color for the resultant. For it becomes, if you multiply by 2, this becomes 2 right. It becomes 2 right. And then if you multiply this by 2, it becomes 4 up. Similarly, 2 right, and then 8 up. You multiply this by 2. 8 right and 4 up. Now you start again from this center. For A to the transformed A, it should go 2 right, 1, 2 right, and 4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4 up. This is the point. And for B, you go 2 right, 8 up. 1, 2, 8 up. This is 4 up already. 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be B. And for C, you go 8 right and 4 up. So 8 right would be here. You can count 8 right would be and 4 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the new point. I'm going to draw the enlarged triangle, enlarged or transformed triangle. So this is the new transformed triangle. Question number 80. We solve this one separately and this one separately and we equate them. That's what it is given in the question. So to find f inverse x, there are two methods. We have f of x is equal to x minus 9 divided by 8. You would say this is y because that is y. F of x meaning that is y. Then you interchange x to y and y to x. So x equals to y minus 9 divided by 8. And then you solve for y. If you solve for y, you get 8. If you multiply by 8 both sides, you get to y minus 9. And then if you add 9 both sides, 8x plus 9. And then in the end, you write this as f inverse of x. F inverse of x is 8x plus 9. And next, gh of x. I'm solving gh of x here. Whenever you see gh of x in the function of g, 2 times wherever x is there, you input h of x. So x would be replaced by 4x because h of x is 4x. So this is in this function, h of x would be replaced. So 2 times 4x whole square plus 9. So if you do the simplification, 4 square is 16. So 2 times 16 x square plus 9, which is 32x square plus 9. In the question, it is given that these two are equal. F inverse of x is equal to gh of x. So we equate this one and this one. So 8x plus 9 is equal to 32x squared plus 9. 32, 32x squared plus 9. To simplify this, you subtract 9 both sides. You subtract 9 both sides. So when you subtract 9 both sides, you have only 8x here, and then you have 32x squared here. And then you move all the terms to one side. Don't divide by x. Don't divide by x, because if you divide by x, you are losing one solution. If you move both terms to same side, I would move 8x. I would subtract 8x both sides. So this becomes 0. 32x squared minus 8x. And now you factor out. If you factor out 8, and then first you factor out number, and then also see about the letter. X can be factored out. Once you decide by what expression we're factoring out to get the inside values, you divide them. If you divide this by 8x, 32 divided by 8 is 4, x squared divided by x is x, minus 8x divided by 8x. I have seen some students writing 0. No, it is 1, equal to 0. Whenever this times this is equal to 0, when you multiply two of them, if the result is 0, one of them should be 0. Either 8x should be 0 or 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. From this, you can say that either x equal to 0 or x equal to 1 divided by 4. 3 years ago, the ratio of Tom's age to Clemmie's age was 2 to 7. Tom is now 15 years old. If Tom is now 15 years old, 3 years back, Tom age is going to be 12 years. I said 3 years back because 3 years ago, because the ratio is given for 3 years ago. 3 years ago, Tom's age should be 12 years, and then the ratio of Tom to C is 2 to 7. It is given Clemmy is X years old now. Then 3 years before, 3 years ago. If it is 3 years ago, for example, if a person is 10 years old, 3 years ago, 7 years, meaning you subtract 3. If she's X years old, 3 years ago, it is X minus 3. Now, so we can see that two parts are 12. So one part is 6. One part is 6. Then 7 parts should become 7 parts should become, if one part is 6, 7 parts is 42. We said C is 42, which is x minus 3. X minus 3 is 42. Then you can say x equal to 45. Whenever you see two equations and if they have y in common, if they're asking for intersection, you equate them, because this is y, both are equal to y, meaning they should be equal to each other. Then only they both would be equal to y. X squared minus 17. Yeah. You subtract 4x and you add 5. It becomes x squared minus 17 minus 4x plus 5. It would become x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. And then you have the brackets here, x and x, which is x minus 6 and x plus 2 equal to 0. Then this gives us x equal to 6 or x equal to minus 2. When x equal to 6, use one of them to solve the values of y. See, generally the notion is when we get the value of x, we feel that the question is over. However, they're asking for coordinates of intersection. Coordinates meaning both x and y values. If you replace x as 6, y would be equal to 4 times 6, 24 minus 5, 19. And then if you equate negative 2 here, if you replace negative 2 here, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So y equals to negative 8, negative 5, negative 13. So the coordinates are 6, comma 19 and 2 comma negative 13. This question, we have G and H here. We are multiplying them. The rule it is tested is when the bases are same, we add the powers. So when you multiply them, there are two fours in multiplication, and there are two threes in multiplication, and there are two sevens here, three sevens here, five sevens in multiplication. This is the answer. And now G divided by H. Here we need to divide them. So we need to divide them. If you divide 2 to the power 3, so I'll write the expression, both the expressions. G is 2 cube times 3 times 7 square divided by 2 times 3 times 7 cube. When they are in multiplication, you can simplify each of them like this. You can look at the common bases and you can simplify them. So if you have a to the power m divided by a to the power n, which is a to the power m minus n. If there is no power, meaning there is 1 here. So 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 square. Here, there is 1, there is 1. You need to write the 1 minus 1 is 3 power 0 times this one, 2 minus 3 is 7 to the power negative 1. Because in the answer they're asking what is 3 power, that's why we have to write 3 to the power 0. So then you can see that if this is equivalent to this one, in the place of A we have 2, in the place of B we have 0, in the place of C we have negative 1. And when two rectangles are similar, their scale factor should be same. So to find scale factor, you would do, generally I do bigger number divided by smaller number. It doesn't matter. And then bigger number divided by smaller number. If this is, I'll find this one and I find this one. If that is same, so this is scale factor. This is also scale factor. If both the scale factors are same, then it is they are similar. You can say that they're similar. So I would do 8 divided by 5. So scale factor is 1.6. And this one is also 1 point. You can use your calculator. This is also 1.6. So they are similar. They are similar. And when it is geometric progression, you would see what number is multiplied to previous number to get the next number. You can see that 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. You can also check here 4 times 2 is 8, 9 times 3 is 27. So next one would also follow the same pattern. 8 times 2 is 16, 20 times 3 is 81. 16 divided by 81 is the correct answer. So whenever you have such a long question, try to understand them in a bits. Given center is 0, comma 0, I would label that first. And then this is circle equation, x square plus y square equal to 169. You need to know whenever circle equation is given, you need to know that this is radius. Circle equation is x square plus y square equal to r square. So r is 13. So we know that radius is 13. You can also see in the diagram the radius is 13. We know that radius is 13. And now I'll go to the A part. This is what I can write from the question. I'm going to the A part. Show that this lies, the moment you see some point lies on a curve or straight line, you replace this as x, this as y in the equation and you verify. So I would replace, so we have circle equation x square plus y square is 169. I would replace x as negative 12 whole square plus 5 square. So this is 144 plus 25, 169 equal to 169, meaning it lies on the circle. The point lies on the circle. Find the equation of the tangent. I'm doing the B part here. Find the equation of the tangent to the circle at negative 12 comma 5. So negative 12 comma 5 should be in the second quadrant, maybe somewhere here. This is negative 12 comma 5. So this is negative 12. The distance is 12 and distance is 5. But as a coordinate, you would write negative 12 because it is on the negative x-axis. But we need to find, see, whenever questions are a bit hard, write down what information you need to solve and also what information you have. So first I would look for what information I need to solve this one. What I need to find equation of a line. So I need to find equation of a line. I need gradient for that. I need gradient and also I need point for that. Every time we need these two, but the information would be given in a indirect way, in an indirect way. Let's see. We don't have, so equation of tangent, this is equation of tangent here. This is what we are finding. We don't know the gradient of this, but we know it is passing through 12 comma 5. We know the point. We know the point, it is passing through negative 12 comma 5. But to find the gradient, you can see that line, this line is perpendicular to this line. So these two are perpendicular to each other, meaning you can find gradient of this line, gradient of this line. You have point 0 comma 0 and 12 comma 5. So difference in y coordinates, So we are finding gradient of, let's say, O and this point P. Gradient of line OP is difference in y is 5 divided by negative 12. And now our required gradient is perpendicular gradient, which becomes 12 divided by 5. So now you start your method y equal to mx plus c. You substitute all the values to find the value of c. Gradient is 12 divided by 5 times x. We have x. X is negative 12 plus c. You would multiply by 5. So this becomes 25. Here it is negative 144 plus c. So c is going to be equal to 169. So the equation is y equals to 12 divided by 5 x plus 169. This is equation of tangent. And this is construction question. We will do construction question videos in a different one. So I am ignoring this one for now. A rectangle L and width W, L increased by 20%. So the area is L times W. This is previous or initial, previous or initial area. Now updated values, updated area. In the updated area, length became more than 20% to compare it to this. So 1.2 L. Width decreased by 35. If decreased by 35, now it is just 65%, which is 0.65 W. And then you multiply 1.2. I'm doing it on calculator. I multiply 1.2 times 0.65, which is 0.78 LW. It was 1 LW, now it became 0.78 W. So it decreased by 22. So meaning 0.2 decreased by 0.22, it decreased by 22%. Now, the volume of prism A is, so we have this volume. It looks quite a big question. Looks like a lot of information is there. Let's sort it out. Let's dissect the information. The volume of prism A is this volume. We know this volume is 58.806. The volume of prism B, this volume is given. The cross section, so is right angle triangle. For prism B, the length of the base of the triangle is 8.1. So we have the base here, and the area is given 43.74, meaning from this I can find height. Height is not given. The height of triangle, so we need to find h. To find h, you can clearly see that the moment you see similar, meaning they're talking about scale factor. Whenever it is scale factor, for area, it is going to be scale factor square of smaller one times area of smaller one gives you bigger one. Similarly, volume is cubed. Okay, for length, it is just scale factor. I'm going to do that calculation here. Don't worry if you didn't get it. Now, see, we know volume of A and volume of B. To find the scale factor, you can clearly see that the volume of prism A is smaller. Volume of prism A times scale factor cube should be equal to volume of prism B. So scale factor whole cube is equal to volume of B divided by volume of A. So volume of B, it is given 1587.762 divided by 58.806 scale factor cube. Whenever it is volume, it is scale factor cube. Again, I'm going to use my calculator. Obviously, it is, you need to use calculator divided by 58.806, which is 27. They gave very good number. So scale factor cube is 27. If you cube root it, scale factor is 3. Now, so to find this one, because these two are similar, you need this height and this height would be in proportion. We need this height. To find this height, they gave us the area. So half times base 8.1 times this height, let's say h1, because there is h already, I'm giving like h1 is equal to 43.74. So H1 would be equal to 43.74 times 2, and then you divide by 8.1. So 43 3.74 times 2 divided by 8.1 is 10.8. This is 10.8. We got this one as 10.8. Now, h times the smaller triangle times scale factor would be equal to the height of bigger triangle, which is 10.8. We already know scale factor is 3. So h times 3 is 10.8 and h would be equal to, you divide by 3, 3.6 centimeters. And now you can see this question is incomplete regular. So you should be able to scan and identify some words in the question, meaning each side is equal. The size of each interior angle is 140 greater than each exterior angle. So you can see that this is bigger. Let's say the smaller one is x. This becomes x plus 140 because 140 degrees greater. But we know interior angle plus exterior angle, they should add up to 180. Here, they clearly gave you that this is a line, but it's always better to remember this one. So now, interior angle, which is x plus 140 plus x, they both should add up to 180. So 2x plus 140 is 180. You subtract 140 both sides, you get 40, x equal to 20. So the moment you get x equal to, the moment you get the value of x, it doesn't mean you got the final answer. You need to read the question again. Work out the number of sides of regular polygon. So number of sides would be equal to 360 degrees divided by exterior angle. So here 360 divided by, we said exterior angle is x is 20. So that would be equal to 18. So number of sides are 18. Yeah, question number 93. Let's see, if you see, the question is asking to fill up these missing values. Whenever you have such questions, you take you take the class size and frequency. You consider one of these where the graph is already drawn in the question. You can see that for 10 to 15, there is already graph drawn. So by using this, you can use either this or this as well. I'm taking this one. By using this, you try to find this scale on the y-axis because you have the complete information for this one. So the next step would be frequency density. Anyways, you need to find frequency density for each of them. Whenever you see the word frequency density here, on the y-axis, it should be frequency density. Formula for frequency density is frequency divided by class width. In this case, for example, frequency density, to find frequency density, you take frequency 60 divided by class width is difference between these two, 10 to 15, which is 5. So frequency density is 12, meaning this one, this should be 12. If this is 12, you can clearly see that you need to go up by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Now you know the scale on the y-axis. By using this, we can draw the remaining bars and also we can fill the remaining parts of the table. So let us fill the table first. We are going to find the frequency. I said frequency density is frequency divided by class width. Then frequency should be equal to frequency density times class width. If you multiply with class width, that is going to be frequency. In other words, if you want to really understand the core concept behind it, frequency is area of the rectangle there. For example, um, um, 15 to 30, 15 to 30. So this is 15 to 30. We know that this is 15 because 15 to 30, this is 15. And then we know that this is 8. So this is 15 and this is 8. Area of the rectangle is 15 times 8, which is 120. Even if you use the formula, frequency density is 8 there, times class width is 15, you get the same answer. So 30 to 50, if you go to 30 to 50, you know this is 20. And then, so frequency density, I'm not going until here. I would use this side. So I know this is 2, this is 4, this is halfway between 4 and 6. So this should be 5. So this is 5 and this is 20. Area of that is going to be 100. Now we have our complete table. We need to draw the bars here for 0 to 10. 0 to 10, frequency is 100. Then frequency density should be frequency divided by class width is 10, which is equal to 10. On the y-axis, it should be until 10. So on the y-axis, for 0 to 10, it is until 10, and you shade this part. Weighting coefficients question, we got u e minus 2 root 3 whole square is equal to f minus 20 root 3. And then we expand this one. You write e minus 2 root 3 times e minus 2 root 3. I would simplify this first. We multiply this and this, which is e square. And you multiply this and this. E times 2 root 3. I'll show the simplifications here. E times minus 2 root 3. I prefer writing number in front of the letter after the multiplication. So minus 2 root 3 times e. And then you multiply this to this, which is again minus 2 root 3 times e. So we got the number already in front of the letter. So this is algebraic notation. We prefer to write numbers in front of the letter. And you multiply this one and this one now, this one and this one, minus 2 root 3 times minus 2 root 3, which is 4. Root 3 times root 3 is 3, which is 12. So we got e square minus 4 root 3. This is where generally students make a mistake. Minus 2 root 3 minus 2 root 3 minus 2 root 3 minus 2 root 3. They would become minus 4 root 3. So root 3, there are two root 3's. There are two root 3's. As they got the same symbol, you add them and you continue the symbol. Minus 4 root 3e plus 12. This is the simplification of this one. Now, we say that e square minus 2 root 3 minus 2 root 3 minus 4 root 3e plus 12 is equal to f minus 20 root 3. Now, equating coefficients, you should be really be careful here. Here. When you equate the coefficients, you need to equate the like terms. When I say equal to here, see, in this case, you can clearly see that there is only one term with root 3. There is only one term with root 3. So I would pull out this one from this one. Minus 4 root 3e is equal to minus 20 root 3. This is one way of equating it. Otherwise, the other way is you take all the coefficients of E so don't worry about the second method. As long as you can see that you pull out the terms with root 3 from the left hand side, you pull out the terms with root 3 on the right hand side, that should be fine. So you divide by root 3 both sides. And if you divide by negative 4, E would become 5. And now the second part, this part is gone. Now the terms without root 3, terms without root 3, without root 3. The terms without root 3 are e square on the left hand side plus 12 is equal to, on the right hand side, only f. So e square is going to be 25 plus 12, e is 5. So 5 square plus 12 is equal to f, which is going to be 37. So e is going to be 5, f is going to be 37. Question number 95. We can clearly see that it is inversely proportional. Y is inversely proportional to square of x. The moment you see inversely proportional, you write k divided by square of x square. Pay attention to the language. So square of x. When they ask to write the formula, this is not just the formula. You'll get 1 mark for this if you write this. What they expect, to give the 3 marks is you need to get the value of k. To get the value of k, you can use any one of these respective x and y values. I would prefer this one because the numbers are simpler. So x is 3 and y is 4. Y is 4. K divided by x is 3. 3 square, and then k would be 36. So you'll get to, if you get the k value, you'll get 1 more mark for that. To get the third mark, you need to write y equals to this constant divided by x square. I have seen some people writing these values again. No, you need to write y and x, and then k should be replaced. This will give you the third mark. And second one, find the value of x when y is 144. You would use your formula. So y equals to 36 divided by x square. We need to find the value of x when y is 144. So y is 144 equals to 36 divided by x square. You might have different methods of solving this. What I would do is whenever these two are there, I would interchange them. So x square would be equal to, you can confidently interchange them. And then if you use your calculator, that should give you half. X square would be 1 divided by 4, and then x would be half. They're asking for value of x, which is half. And the next one. A is inversely proportional to square of r. The moment I read this, I would write A is inversely proportional. So k divided by square of r, you write r square. A equal to 5 when r equal to 0.3. So this is 0.3 square. Use your calculator. If you use your calculator, you would get 0.45. Again, this is 1 mark. This is 1 mark. You need to rewrite it in this one, in the first one. So A equals to, you just replace K, 0.45 divided by R square to get the third mark. And find the value of A when R is 7.5A. In math, in some questions, yes, you need to really think before you solve about your solution. You need to think about your solution before you solve. In some cases, especially in algebra, you need to start solving it. That will help you to understand the next steps. This is one of the examples for that. For example, without thinking much of my answer, what I would do is I take my formula, A is 0.45 divided by R square. I would replace that. So it is A 0.45 divided by R is 7.5A. They said R is 7.5A. So this is 7.5A. Remember writing square to that. I don't like fractions. I always get rid of the fractions. I would multiply with 7.5 a whole square both sides. So then a times 7.5 a whole square is equal to 0.45. Now you can use your calculator. So this would become a square. A square times a is a cube. And then 7.5 square. I'm also using my calculator here. 7.5 square is 56.25. 56.25 equal to 0.45. And then you divide 0.45 divided by 56.25, you get a cube equals to 0.008, and if you cube root it, you get 0.2. This is your final answer. And the next one, factorize. This is definitely an interesting one. I'll rewrite the question. X plus y whole square plus 3 times x plus y. You're here more than you logically think. You should be able to uh, f- spot that this and this is exactly the same, this and this is exactly the same. Then you can factor out that one, x plus y. If you factor out that one, once you decide what you're going to factor out to get the inside values, you divide this by this. So if you divide this by this, you will have only x plus y. If you divide this by this one, you'll have 3. So this is the factorization of this. If you're really confused about this, what you can do is you can say, this is second method. Second method. You can say that this x plus y is a. So then it is a square. We said x plus y is a square plus 3a. Now if you factorize this one, you can see that a is common. If you factorize a square divided by a is a plus 3a divided by a is 3. So you know already a is x plus y. That's what we said in the beginning of the second method, times x plus y plus 3. This is the answer. This one, difference between the squares, we have to remember the formula, which is a plus b times a minus b. You have to remember this. And if you apply the same rule here, same rule, see, I would if you are really good at this formula, that's fine. Otherwise, I would strongly recommend to write like this. I'm doing the b part here. We have this formula. I'll write the formula a square minus b square is a plus b times a minus b. So you can clearly see that it is given in this format. So I would write what is a here. What was squared here? X squared plus 4 was squared. I'll still keep it in brackets. That is a. And what was squared here, which is x squared minus 2 was squared. And then if you put that in the formula, a plus b times a minus b. So a is x squared plus 4 plus b is x squared minus 2. So that is a and that is b. So this is a and this is b. And I continued the plus symbol times a is x squared plus 4 minus, be careful when you're writing minus, keep the brackets, still keep the brackets, which is x square minus 2. And then next step, which is going to be x square plus x square, collect the like terms, 2x square, 4 minus 2 is 2. And then this one, x square minus 4. So minus means if you open the brackets, this is like minus negative 1. It becomes negative x square. And if you multiply with negative 1, it is positive 2. So you can see that this one, you can cancel that. So 2x square plus 2 and then negative 4 plus 2, which is negative 2. You can finally write, if you expand this one, which is negative 4x square and negative 4 is your final answer. And next one. So this one, the first thing is I'll get rid of the fraction. I'm writing the question again, 2 minus 3y divided by 4 equal to 1 divided by 4. I'll multiply by 4 both sides. When you multiply by 4 both sides, this is the first term and this is the second term. So because there is division symbol, common division symbol for these two, the whole thing is second term. If you multiply by 4, it is 8y plus. So this 4, this 4 reduces this 4. You're left with 2 minus 3y equal to 1. So collect the like terms. 8 minus 3y, which is 5y plus 2 equal to 1. So 5y, I would subtract 2 both sides, which is minus 1. I'm subtracting 2 both sides, which becomes minus 1. Y is negative 1 divided by 5. And the factorize thing. I have seen one common mistakes. Generally, if the common mistake is people, they make it equal to 0, even though it is not given in the question. Don't do that. If it is not given, we can't say that that is equal to 0. There is no evidence for us to say this is equal to 0. So factorize, you do the factors 3x squared minus 8x minus 3. You multiply these two, so minus 9, and you got in the middle minus 8. Two numbers, when you multiply, that should give you negative 9. If you add those two numbers, that should give you negative 8. So always start with multiplication. I would say 9 and 1. As I need to get negative 9, I would give negative 9 to this. So negative 9 add 1 gives you negative 8. So 3x squared minus 9x plus x minus 3. And then you break this, you factorize here. If you factorize 3x, you divide by 3x, which becomes just x, because x squared, 3 and gone. X squared divided by x is x. And when you divide this by 3x, 9 divided by 3 is 3, x divided by x is 1. So plus, this is x minus 3. I'm just writing it as 1 times x minus 3, which is exactly the same. I would factor out this one. If I factor this out, x minus 3, I have 3x inside. So meaning if I divide this by x minus 3, I have 3x. And if I divide this by x minus 3, I have 1. So this is the factorization. The moment you see two line equations are given, one of the ideas it should pop up immediately is equating both of them. But still, let's read the question. A line cuts the curve at A and B. M is the midpoint of AB. So meaning we need to find this point and this point. You can see that this is the common point on the curve and also on the line. Meaning you can see both y values are same. So even if you don't understand theoretically, what you have to do is x is x squared plus 4. It clearly says that y and y. So x squared plus 4 should be equal to x plus 10. You move everything to one side, x squared. If I move this side, it is negative x. If I move 10 to this side, 4 minus 10, which is negative 6 equal to 0. You can do in any method. Just see if you got this one in the end. So when you do this, it should be x minus 3 and x plus 2 equal to 0. Two numbers multiplied to negative 6 add to negative 1, which are negative 3 and 2. So x equal to 3 or x equal to minus 2. The conventional thing, common thing, what students do is they leave their answer here. But what you have to do is you replace x value either in this equation or in this equation to get the y value. I would use this one because that is simpler. Y equals to x plus 10. So y equals to 3 plus 10, which is 13. Y equals to negative 2 plus 10, which is 8. So these coordinates are 3 comma 13. No, it can't be 3 comma 13 because 3 comma 13 should be here. Both of them are positive. So x is positive, y is positive here. And here negative 2 comma 8. This is negative 2 comma 8. And you find the midpoint. To find the midpoint, add the x coordinates and divide it by 2. So which is negative 2 plus 3, which is 1 divided by 2, comma, add the y coordinates, which is 21 divided by 2. They gave us that these inequalities shows the region S. The diagram below shows the region S that satisfies these inequalities. This guy says that the point with coordinates 2 comma 4 does not satisfy all the inequalities. Is that person correct? We need to give answer for that. If you see all these inequalities, they have equal to symbol. So 2 comma 4, if you see 2 comma 4, this is 2 comma 4. This is on the line. When you have all the inequalities with equal to symbol, meaning all the points are also part of this shaded region. That's what you are going to write. 102. Enlarge triangle A by scale factor 2.5. Its center 0, 1. If you enlarge by 2.5, we have done similar question before. And label these points. This is P, this is Q, this is R. So the original point is from this center to right, you need to go to right. So to the transformed one, you have to go 5 right because you multiply by scale factor. So 2 times this one, this is 5 right. And then originally this is for point P. Point Q, you need to go 2 right and 1, 2, 3, 4 up, 2 right and 4 up. You multiply each of them by 2.5, 5 right, and then if you multiply by this 2.5, 10 up. So you go, I'll label the points in the end. And R, you need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 right, and 1, 2, 3, 4 up. Or you need to go 4 right and 4 up. If you multiply by 2.5, because scale factor is 2.5, 10 right and 10 up. So now starting from this one, I'm going to use a different color for my transformed shape. So starting from this one, 5 right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, anyways, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right. And then this is P. And for Q, you need to go 5 right and 10 up. This is already 5 right, 10 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up. And then for this is point Q, and for point R, 10 right and 10 up. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 10 up should be here. This should be the transformed shape. If you join all the points, that should be the transformed shape. You use ruler in the examination. I'm just doing freehand sketching, but make sure that you're using a ruler. And what is the percentage increase of the image? So for this one, you can take one of the sides from the original one and from the image, and you can compare. If you take this side, this length is 2, and this length you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the percentage increase 2 to 5. You find what is the percentage increase from 2 to 5. Difference is 3 divided by the original value. 2 became 5. So you percentage increase formula, difference divided by original value times it by 100, which is 1.5 times it by 100, 150%. You can take any other side as well. You'll get the same value. Next one. And coming to the next one. So Caden and there are two people went on two different car journeys. For Caden journey, the distance is 80 kilometer, correct correct to nearest 5 kilometers. Whenever you see correct to anything, whatever it is, whatever you have here, you divide that by 2, so which is 2.5. You add that, so you write a distance. So for the first person distance, you add 2.5, which is 82.5, and you subtract 2.5, which is 77.5. And this is always less than or equal to, because if you have 77.5, when you round up, it becomes 8. When you round up, when you go to the nearest 5 kilometers, it would become uh, 80 kilometers. And remember, this is always less than or equal to, this is just less than. And time, so time again, you divide by 2, which is 0.5. You add, so this is one decimal place, correct to one decimal place. One decimal place meaning 0.1. You divide this by 2, which is 0.05. You add 0.05 to this, which is 2.75, and you subtract 5 from that. If you subtract 0.05 from 2.70, which would become 2.65. This is for the first person, Caden, and for the second person, um, distance is 33 kilometers, correct to three significant figures. And for the second person, again, less than, um, correct to three significant figures, meaning you write 33.5 and this one is 32.5. Then only it would become 33. And time, again, if you take time, time is less than, correct to nearest 0.1 hour. Nearest 0.1 hour. You divide this by 2, which becomes 0.05. You add 0.05 to that, which is 1.05 hours, or less than 0.95 hours. These are the values we got for Caden and Sonja. And Caden says, my average speed could have been greater. He's saying that could have been greater. So we would use our information to prove his statement if it is correct or not. But we need to show that it is correct. So we need to use the information and we need to provide some evidence for the cadence statement. He is claiming that his average speed is greater than Sonja. So speed, to find speed, you do distance divided by time. And coming to Caden, we want to make his speed as much big as possible. So to get a bigger value, you would take the biggest possible value here and smallest possible value. Then only you get the biggest speed. Try to understand. If someone can cover more distance in less time, then the speed will be more. So we would take the maximum possible distance, which is 82.5, divided by the least possible time, which is 2.65, and we use the calculator for that. And for the second person, we are trying to get this one bigger. We are trying to get this one as much big as possible. So what we would try for the second person, what we would try is we try to make as much small as possible. So meaning less distance in more time. So you take 32.5 divided by, and the highest possible time is 1.05. You use this you put these numbers on the calculator. So I'm using my calculator here. 82.5 divided by 2.65, which is 31.13. And the second one, 32.5 divided by 1.05, which is 29.61. So you can say that cadence average speed can be greater than this one. So this is how you can do this. And the next one, question number 104. For this question, it is given two coordinates are there, -7 comma 6 and 8 comma -5. And you need to, the reason why I have taken this is if you imagine coordinate axis, you have negative x here and positive y. So this is -7 and this is positive 6. And now we try, so you need to find the distance between these 2 points. You form right angle triangles. You form right angle triangles. See, this one, you know that this is 6. It is given this is 6. And this part, you know that this is 5. So from here to here, they said it is 5. So this is 6 and this is 5. Total, it is going to be 11. Similarly, it is given that if this is 7, -7, meaning this total length is 7. So this part is 7 and this part is 8. The total length is 15. So you have 11 and 15. You find to find this hypotenuse, you do square root of 11 square plus 15 square. You can use your calculator and you can write your answer. So which is, I'm doing it on my calculator. So square root of 346, writing to one decimal place, which is 18.6 is the final answer. Write the number, next one. Write the number in standard form. So we have 0.000408623. So you need to move this decimal by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, right? Whenever it is right, you write times 10 to the power -5. And this one, workout. Anyways, you can use calculator for this. So that gives you 32,100 plus this gives you 0.0051 divided by this one gives you 0.000043. You use the calculator. So I'm going to do that on the calculator. So 3200 plus 0.0051 divided by 0.0043, which is equal to 7,418,702.3255 and so on. So you write to three significant figures. To write to three significant figures, you do 744. You make all these ones 0. So you make all these to 0, and then this becomes 7.4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 to the power of 6. That is the answer. And the next one, to simplify this, so the meaning of this is this power is the power which is common for each of them. So meaning 3, this is 3 to the power of 4 times x to the power of 5 to the power of 4 times y to the power 6 to the power of 4. So 3 to the power of 4 is 81. So the formula for this is a to the power m to the power n, which is m times n. So 5 times 4, which is 20. Similarly, 5 to the power 6 times 4, which is 24. Expand and simplify. There are two methods. You can do normal method. I'll also show the other method as well. So you multiply these two, which is x square minus 3x, and you multiply this one plus 2x, and you multiply these two minus 6. So if you simplify this, which is x square minus x minus 6 times it by x plus 4. So you start multiplying them. So this times this and this times this, which is x cube plus 4x square. And then with the second one, this times this, which is minus x square. And this times this, minus 4x. And this times this, which is negative 6x. And this times this, which is negative 24. So x cube, you can see that 4x square minus x square, which is 3x square. This is minus 10x, negative 24. Second method is grid method. So from this step, you can put this in the grid, x square minus x minus 6, and then you write x and positive 4 here. So this is multiplication. You multiply x times x square, which is x cube, x times minus x, which is minus x square, x times minus x. Similarly, 4x square minus 4x minus 24. So this is x cube. Always you get like terms here, which is plus 3x square. And here also you get like terms, which is negative 10x, negative 24. So either of them should be fine. Next one. So there are 5 terms of sequence. We need to find nth term of the sequence. Whenever you see nth term, you start finding the difference between them. So you can see that this is going up by 1, 3, 5, 7. So this is first difference. Better, I would write first difference here, 1, 3, 5, 7. This is first difference. If the first difference is not the same, you write the second difference. Second difference is 2, 2, 2. So you got the second difference same. Now you need to remember a few things here. Quadratic sequence formula is an square plus bn plus c. And then we need to get the value of a, b, and c. This value is always 2a. So 2a equals to 2, a equals to 1. This first difference, first value, this is always 3a plus b. So 3a plus b is equal to 1. You already know that a is 1. So 3 times 1 plus b is equal to 1. b equals to negative 2. And this one, it is always a plus b plus c. So a plus b plus c is negative 1. You already know a is 1, b is negative 2, plus c is negative 1. So c would become negative 1 plus c is negative 1. If you add 1 both sides, c would become 0. If you add 1 both sides, this is 0. This c is also 0. You're left with just c here. So this is a value, b value, and c value. You substitute them here. A is 1, so 1n square. B is negative 2, negative 2n. C is 0. So the final answer is n square minus 2n. And the next one, so this question, I would do it on a different page. So the scatter graph about the volume of traffic and carbon monoxide level on a road each day for 22 days. One point is an outlier. Write down the coordinates of the point. So this is the outlier. So this is 100, 18. So outlier is 100, 18. Estimate the carbon monoxide for another day. 370 cars pass the point on the road. So 370 cars. So to estimate this value, you need to draw a line of best fit. So the line of best fit would generally go through almost like in between all the points. So the distances should be same from these points. So Yeah, it's you don't get it's not that you will have only one line of best fit. So you have to you can that's why they ask you to estimate. Not necessarily there should be one line of best fit. So 370 is here, 350 is this, 360, 370 is here. So I'm going to draw a line here at 370, and then I would see how much is this value. This is almost 14. So you can say your answer for this one is 14. And now you, and the third one, because there is an outlier, there is no correlation. See, just this outlier cannot affect the correlation among all the other points. There are 21 other points because they said 22 days. These 21 points, they are in positive correlation. Just one odd number cannot disturb the positive correlation. Next one. So this one, we have some algebraic fractions given. The first thing is I try to get rid of the denominator, as in I would try to make them same. So 4x plus 5 divided by 3 minus 3 minus 2x divided by 2. You times it by 2, you times it by 2 to make it 6. You times it by 3, you times it by 3. When you times it by 2, you need to times both of them by 2. 8x plus 10 divided by 2 times 3, which is 6, minus, this is multiplication, not x, this is multiplication. You need to multiply each of them. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 3 times 2x is 6x, divided by 2 times 3 is 6. Now, the denominators are exactly the same, and you write 8x plus 10. This is where generally many people make a mistake. So when this is negative, when you are joining both the fractions, you put the brackets. Remember like that. The moment you join both the fractions, you need to write the brackets. 8x plus 10 minus 9 plus 6x divided by 6. We have equal to 13 in each of these cases, equal to 13, equal to 13. And now you multiply by 6 both sides. So you simplify. 8x plus 6x is 14x plus 1. If you multiply by 6, that becomes 13 times 6, 78. And then 14x is 77. So x is 77 divided by 14. You can simplify that. If you divide by, you can use calculator, it should be 5.5. Solve the inequality, this one. To solve the inequality, first you factorize this one. So 2y square minus 7y minus 30. And then you have negative 60. When you multiply two numbers, you should get negative 60. When you add two numbers, that should be equal to negative 7. So think about, so you start with the 2 times table. 2 times 30, that is huge gap. When you add, you cannot get negative 7. Then I go to 3, still the gap is more. I go to 4, 4 times 15, still the gap is big. And then 5 and 12. So 5 and 12, 5 times, I would say negative 12, 5 and negative 12. If you add them, because I need negative 7, I would take the bigger number negative. So you write 2y square minus plus 5y minus 12y. It doesn't matter whatever the order you write. You can write 12y here also, minus 30. And if you take y common, this is 2y plus 5. And you can take here 6 common, negative 6 common. Remember, negative 6. If you divide this by negative 6, you get 2y. If you divide this by -6, you get +5. So if you factor this out, 2y plus 5 is times y minus 6. So if you equate this to 0, you get y equal to, 5 divided by 2, and you get y equal to 6. You get y equal to -5 divided by 2, and y is equal to 6. Whenever it is less than or equal to, if you want to remember, you can remember like this. Your answer is going to be always like this. Your answer is going to be always in between, because it is less than or equal to. You would also write less than or equal to here, the smallest value here, and then biggest value here. This is your final answer. Otherwise, if you want to really understand the concept behind it, so if you have a graph like this, you need to see where this curve is negative, because it is saying this is less than or equal to 0. The curve is negative here. The curve is negative here. You can see. So you would see for what values of these, for what values of y, it is negative. So you can see, so these are the values, which is this is -5 divided by 2 and -6. So between -5 divided by 2 and 6. A bus route had 90,000 passengers last year. It increases by 3%. The moment you see increases by 3%, you would do this times 1.03. That should give you 90,000 times 1.03, which is 92,700. And then 92,700 times 1.08. So 92,000 times 1.08, which is 100, comma 116. So the previous one was 90,000 times 1.03 is 92,700, and 92,700 times 1.08 is this one. Is the predicted number of passengers for the next year more than 100,000? Yes, it is more than 100,000. Expand triple brackets. It is similar. We have done similar question before. And this one, we also done similar question before, but still we will do one more question here. P has x coordinate of 4. It is given x coordinate is 4. We don't know why. I'll write y. P has, so work out the tangent at P. So we have this equation, circle equation, x square plus y square is equal to 80. And you know that this point lies on this tangent. The moment you know this point lies on the tangent, you replace this point here. So in the place of x, you write 4 square plus y square is equal to 80, and y square. So this is 16. If you take away 16, this is 64. So y is going to be, generally we write +8. Remember, it can be either +8 or -8. In this case, you can see that this is the point. In this point, this is the y value. Y values are negative. So this y has to be negative. Y is -8. Now the point becomes 4 comma -8. We need to find the equation of tangent. You can see that this is a straight line. So straight line equation is y equal to mx plus c. To find this line equation, you always need gradient and then point. So we already have the point which the tangent is passing through, which is 4 comma -8. And now gradient. So this 0, O means 0 comma 0. if you join these two, this is radius. Radius is perpendicular to tangent. So you can find gradient of these two. So you can find gradient of OP. So gradient of OP, difference in y coordinates, -8, -0, -8, -0, divided by difference in x coordinates, 4 minus 0. So which is going to be -2. If this gradient is -2, perpendicular gradient, our required gradient will become, you change the sign and you flip the fraction, so positive half. So you plug in all these values in y equal to mx plus c. So the point -8 equals to m is half times 4 plus c, and the -8 is 2 plus c. C is equal to -10. And you replace that in this equation. So y equals to, gradient is half x minus 10. This is, so remember, whenever you're writing equation of tangent, you should only replace m and c. You should keep y and x as it is. And this one, the diagram shows a vertical tower CD and ABC is horizontal, given AB is 25 meters. We need to work out this one. To work out this one, the problem is, if you consider the big triangle, if you consider this big triangle, you don't have this length of BC. Meaning, somehow you need to use this angle to find information about this triangle. You know, this is 31 degrees and this is 25 meters. That is the information we know. And one thing what I can do is, I can find this angle, because these two add up to 180. So this is going to be 141. If this is 141, I can find this angle, because these three angles, they should add up to 180. 141 plus 31, which is 172. So this is 8 degrees. From this, what I would do is, this is 8 degrees, not 80. I would use sine rule. I have matching pairs here. So I have this angle, and so I have this side and this angle, and I have this angle, and I'll find how much is this side. So if you use sine rule, the first, so I would write this one, 25 divided by sine 8 degrees is equal to 31 divided by, sorry, we write this length, x divided by sine 31. So if you simplify this, you would get 25 divided by sine 8. Use calculator. 25 divided by sine 8 degrees, which is, sorry, 25 divided by sine 8 degrees, which is equal to 179.63 and so on. So that times sine 31. Sine 31 gives you 92.5. So you get x is equal to 92.5 if you round it to one decimal place. So we got this one is 92.5. Now again, I would use sine rule, or I can use SOHCAHTOA. Whenever 90 degrees is there, you can use SOHCAHTOA. If you label the sides, so suppose if this is the angle, this is opposite, and this is hypotenuse, and this is adjacent. So we know hypotenuse and we need opposite. We need opposite, and we know hypotenuse. So it's between O and H. So it is sine. So sine 39 is equal to H divided by hypotenuse is 92.5. So H is equal to 92.5 times sine 39 degrees, which would be 58.2. So the height should be equal to 58.2 meters. Next one. So this one, a ship sails from P to Q, and then from Q to R. They gave us 12 miles here, and bearing is 80 degrees. And R travels 28 miles from Q on a bearing of 155. Question is asking the direct distance between P and R. So we need to find how much is this one. The moment you look at this question, you can see that this side is there, this side is there. And if you can have this angle, you can use cosine rule, right? So we would try to find this angle. To find this angle, I would use the given information. So these two are parallel lines because not lines. This angle and this angle, they should add up to 180 degrees. So this would be 100, this would be 100. And these three angles, they should add up to 360. 100 plus 155 plus Q should be equal to 360. So 255 plus Q is 360, and then Q should be equal to 105. So this is 105. Now you use cosine rule. This side, so suppose this is C. C square is equal to this square, 12 square plus 28 square minus 2 times 12 times 28 times cos 105. Just you use your calculator and you get this value. So which is 12 square, we know 144, and then 28 square, which is 7. So 144 plus 784 minus, we do 2 times 12 times 28 times cos 105, which is minus 173.9. So you subtract this. So you do that is minus 173.9. That is minus. So this minus and that minus becomes positive. And then you add that to 144, 784, that is 624. So C square is 624.0. And you find the square root of that. So square root of 624, which is going to be almost 25. And the next one. So you got Q and R. Highest common factor question. It is given highest common factor of Q and R is 4056. The standard method, the best method is highest common factor. You need to write all the common bases. So highest common factor for Q and R is, you would see what all common bases you have. You have 2 here, 2 here, and then you have 3 here, 3 here, and then A here, A here. You write all the common bases. If there is 5 here, and if there is no 5 here, you would not write 5. So you write all the common bases. And remember like this, although it is highest, you take the least powers. So between 2 cube and 2 to the power 4, least power is 3, and then least power is 1, least power is 2 here. As it is factors, factors are always equal to the number or less than the number. That's why you take the least powers. So 2 cube times 3 times a square is equal to 4056. Now you have to prime factors 4056. You start with 2. 2 times 2, 0, 2, 8. And then 2 times 10, 14. And again 2 times 5, 0, 7. And you can see that this is divisible by 3 because they add up to 12. So 3 times 16 is 48 and 9. And 169 is 13 times 13. So you can see that 1, 2, 3 2's are there. So 2 cube and times 1, 3 is there. And then 13 square. So you can clearly see that A should be equal to 13. And the least common multiple, I'm writing Q and R for you here. Q equal to 2 cube times 3 times A cube. R is equal to 2 to the power 4 times 3 square times A square. Least common multiple. For least common multiple, you write all the different bases you can see here. So 2, 3, A across both Q and R, you write all the different bases. Suppose if there is some 7 here, you still write times 7 here. In LCM, you write all the different bases. So here the bases are same, but still we write them and you write the biggest powers. For LCM, multiples are either same or bigger than that number. Let's say multiple of 10. 10, 20, 30, either same or bigger than that number generally. Uh, for you to remember, I'm giving you this hint. So highest power is 4, highest power is 2, and highest power is 3 here. So it is given, work out the lowest common multiple. So the lowest common multiple is, so 2 to the power 4 times 3 square, and we got already 13, which is 13 cube. This is lowest common multiple. And next one, ABC is a right angle triangle. You need to prove ABC is similar to ADE. Whenever it is similar, we would see if the sides are in proportion, but we do not have all the sides of the triangles here. Then we go to the angles. So I write triangle A. We need to prove triangle ABC and triangle ADE if they are similar. In both the triangles, there is angle A, angle A, angle A. They are same, obviously, because they share common angle. The reason is common angle. And then they have 90 degrees. Angle E is equal to angle C because a right angle. Two angles are there, and also it is given these two are parallel. Their ED is parallel, so this is parallel to this one. If this is parallel to this one, this angle and this angle, they should be equal. This angle and this angle, they should be equal, corresponding angles. So angle D on angle B, sorry, here also you write angle C and angle E here because I'm writing all the angles of ABC here. So angle B from triangle ABC is equal to angle D because this is angle D corresponding angles. So if as all angles are equal, you can say that triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADE. And EDE is 20 centimeter, ED is 20 centimeter, CB and AC, they gave already on the diagram. Work out the length of EC. So you know you find the scale factor. I always go with the smaller one, smaller side times scale factor is equal to bigger side. So smaller side, the given value is 20 times scale factor is equal to bigger, which is 30. So scale factor is going to be you divide both sides by 20, which is 1.5. So again, I'll go with smaller side. In this case, smaller side is AE. So AE times scale factor is equal to the side AC. So we know AC is 18. You div AE times scale factor. You need to find, okay, so you find AE. AE times scale factor is 1.5. So you find that 18 divided by 1 point, so you use the calculator, 18 divided by 1.5, which is 12. So we got AE is 12, so the remaining part should be 6. So the question is asking for EC. If you leave it 12, then you don't get 3 marks. You need to write the ECE is 6 in your answer. And the next one is histogram question. Work out an estimate of the probability. Work out the estimate of the probability that the biscuit will have a weight between 20 and 20 and 40 grams. So this one, so basically they're asking the frequency here. They're asking how many people are there between 20 grams, so 20 grams and 40 grams. So you need to know the total number of people in the bottom and the number of people between 20 and 40. What I always do is I find the area of the triangle, that is the frequency here. So 10, 0 to 10, the length is 10, 10 times 3, which is 30. And then 10 times, so this is 20, 20 times 5, which is 100. This total is 100. And then 30 to 45, this is 45. So which is 15, 15 times 8, which is 120. And then this one 45 to 60 again, this is 15. 15 times 10, 150. So the total number, you add all of them. So whenever, so you can use calculator. So I add 120 and 30, 150, 150, 150, 300 plus 100, 400. That is total. We need to find the number of people between 20 and 40. So 20 and 40, to find them, as there are two different bars, I'll find, I'll change the color. I'll find between 20 and 30 first. Between 20 and 30, the area is, this is 10 times 5, which is 50. This part is 50. And then between 30 and 40, between 30 and 40, this is also 10. 10 times 10 times 8, which is 80. So the area which we are looking for is 50 plus 80, which is 130. So which is 13 divided by 40 is the correct answer. And then 118, question number. You got g of x. So two composite functions are given. First, I'll find those composite functions. I'll find gh of x and then times it by 3. So whenever it is gh of x, in the place, wherever you have x in g function, you replace h of x there. So 1 minus g function is 1 minus 3 times x. In the place of x, you write h of x, which is 2x squared minus 1. And you need to multiply, you need 3 times gh of x. So you multiply by 3. You also multiply this by 3. I would simplify this. Before I multiply this 3, I would simplify this part. 1 minus 6x squared. If you multiply with negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And this is where generally there are a lot of misconceptions. So negative 3 times negative 1, which is positive 3. So 3 times 4 minus 6x squared. If you multiply 3 inside, 12 minus 18x squared. And then hg of x. So in the h function, you wherever x is there, you write gx there. So wherever the gx is, so here x is there, you write gx, which is 1 minus 3x and minus 1. So this is 2 minus 6x plus 2, 2 minus 6x minus 1. So this is 1 minus 6x. If you add this one and this one, that's what they're saying. You need to add them. So 1 minus 6x. Oh, sorry. So here, see, I need to erase this part. We can see that this is square. This is square. So you need to square this one. You need to square this one. You need to expand that one. If you expand that, you get, so you can do expansion 1 minus 3x times 1 minus 3x here. So 1 minus 1 times 1 and 1 times negative 3x, negative 3x times 1, and then negative 3x times negative 3x. So this is 1 minus 6x plus 9x squared minus 1. So this is 2 minus 12x plus 18x squared minus 1. So we add this one and this one because in the question it says that this is 2 minus 12x plus 18x squared minus 1. They said that is equal to 0. They said, I'm not saying that. So now if you add them, this and this, it is gone. And then you have numbers 12 plus 2, 14 minus 1, which is 13 minus 12x is equal to 0. So you get, if you add 12x both sides, if you add 12x both sides, 13 is equal to 12x. And then I divide by 12 both sides, x equal to 12 divided by 13. So I got just one solution. So you have to say that there is only one solution. And the next one, the parallelogram and trapezium have same area. Underline this. They both have same area. Then I would look at the diagram where I can find the area in numbers. So obviously there are letters here. There are numbers here. So area of this parallelogram 8 times 6? No, never do that. So area of parallelogram is base times height, base times height. This is not height. Height should be 90 degrees with the base. So area of parallelogram, they said they are same. So area 8 times 5 should be equal to area of trapezium. Area of trapezium half times sum of parallel sides. Remember, this formula would be given in your exam, but remember this A and B are sum of parallel sides. Sometimes the diagram can be like this. Still, these are not A and B. This is A and this is B because they are parallel. So x plus y times distance between those parallel sides, which is 4. You simplify this. This is 40. And then, so see, if you have 2 times 3 times 5, I can multiply 2 times 5, which is 10, 10 times 3, which is 30, or I can multiply 2 times 3, 6, 6 times 5, which is 30. But we don't multiply this 2 to this and 2 to this, right? So similarly, I multiply half and 4, which is 2, 2 times x plus y, and I would divide by 2, which is 20 equals to x plus y. So this is what I could develop from this part. Let's see if there is something else given. See, it is given the ratio of x to y is 3 to 5. So we have x plus y, meaning x is 3 parts, y is 5 parts, total is 8 parts. So we know that 8 parts are 20. We need to find values of each x and y. So we know one part is 20 divided by 8, which is 2.5. So x is 3 parts, 3 times 2.5, which is 7.5. And y is 5 parts, 5 times 2.5, which is 12.5. Next one. ABCD is a trapezium. Given AD is parallel to BC, AD is parallel to BC, calculate the area of triangle BCD. So you need to find area of this triangle BCD. See, if you look at this question, to find the area, and whenever angles are involved in the question, area is always half AB sine C. So this angle should be attached between these two sides, meaning if you are taking this side and this side, you need this angle. Here, I am taking this side and this side because anyways, I have this side, length of this side. So I would try to find length of this side and this angle so I can use this formula. To do that, we need length of this side. To find length of this side, I can see that this angle and this side, they're opposite to each other. I say matching pair. And this one and this one is matching pair. So now you write 7.9 divided by sine 42 is equal to, when I start writing side on the top, you need to write side on the top. BD divided by sine 112. So you do it in the calculator. Do it in the calculator. So 7.9 divided by, I got 7.9 divided by, so it should be in degrees, sine 42. Sine 42 is equal to 11.8. And then you multiply that with sine 112. So you multiply this answer with sine 112. So that gives me 10.9466. So so 10 point, I would write the whole number as much as I will write 10.94667. I would write 10.94667. So I got 10 point, this one as 94667. I got this side, but I need this length. If you look at the question, see, whenever we need some more information, generally there should be some part of the information in the question which we haven't used. You can see that we haven't used this one. So let's try to use that. If AD is parallel to BC, what rules we can see? You can see that, see, this is a parallel line. So if you have a parallel line and if you have like this angle, they are same, alternate interior. This angle and this angle is same. Now imagine you have this shape here. So this is parallel side and this is parallel side. So parallel lines now if I rotate this one like this is parallel, and there is a line here. So this angle would be equal to this angle. So this angle would be equal to this angle. So this angle 42 would be equal to this one, 42 degrees. So just you put it on the calculator, area would be equal to half. A is 10.94667 times 15.3 times sine 42. Just you put them in on the calculator. So you do this times 15.3 times sine 42 whole answer divided by 2, which is 56 point. So now I can round it. I would say 56.03. So they're asking to round to one decimal place. So we get 56 centimeters square. Next one. The floor plan of a house drawn using scale 1 to 50. 1 to 50. See, in such questions, the moment you see centimeter here, the scale would become centimeter, but then never the scale will become automatically centimeter square or centimeter cube. But the unit, if the question is in terms of centimeters, the scale would become centimeters. So 1 centimeter is 50 centimeters, but I need in centimeter square. There are multiple ways of doing it. So to get centimeter square, you square this one, you square this one. So 1 centimeter square is 2500 centimeter square. So then 48 centimeter square. So you need to multiply by 48 both sides. You multiply by 48 here. That should give you 48 times 2500. So which is 10,000 centimeter square. 10,000, sorry, 48 times 2500, 120,000. So this is 120,000 centimeter square. You need your answer in meter square. You know, again, 1 meter is 100 centimeter. 1 meter square, you multiply both sides, you square both sides, 10,000 centimeter square. So to convert from centimeter to meter, you need to divide by 10,000. So if you divide by 10,000, so it is going to be 12 meter square. And now, so you need to work out the values for which this is less than 0. You, first of all, you factorize this one. So if you factorize this, that is x plus 6 times x minus 4 is less than 0. You get the x values. If you equate this to 0, x is minus 6. Similarly, if you equate this to 0, you get x equal to 4. So you can clearly see that this is negative 6 and this is 4. We said this is equal to 0, meaning when they are x-intercepts. So here and here. They said the values on the graph is less than 0. The values on the graph here, the values, y values on the graph, the whole thing, this whole thing is values on the graph. So values on the graph here, it is positive, we can see because positive y. So values, so you say y values. So y values are positive here. Y values are only negative in this region. So your answer should be negative 6 less than x less than 4. Remember this, always whenever you have less than symbol, your answer would be between values, always between small value here, big value here. So we got this paper. Okay, so they gave us the graph for this one between x values 0 and 6. You can see when x is 0 and 6, they gave us the graph. By drawing a suitable linear graph, work out the approximate solutions. They said linear graph, meaning straight line graph. So you can, in such questions, what we do is, if I move everything to one side here, I will subtract y both sides. I'll subtract y both sides. X square minus 6x plus 5 minus y is equal to 0. This one. And this one, x square minus 7x plus 9 equal to 0. Both this is equal to 0. This is also equal to 0, meaning they must be equal. X square minus 6x plus 5 minus y is equal to x square minus 7x plus 9. So you subtract x square both sides. If you subtract x square, this is gone. I would add 7x both sides. If I add 7x here and 7x here, and this would become 7x minus 6x, which is x, plus 5 is equal to 7x is gone here because we are adding, which is 9. So y, if you simplify this, if I move y to other side, y is equal to x minus 4. So you need to draw this line, x equal to y minus 4. So to draw this line, it clearly tells me that if I write in this form y equal to x minus 4, so if a equals to b, you can write b equals to a. So similarly, I wrote y equal to x minus 4. This tells me that x-intercept is negative 4. Sorry, y-intercept is negative 4. So you start from negative 4. Also, you find x-intercept. To find x-intercept, you replace y as 0. You replace y as 0. Then x minus 4 equal to 0. X equal to 4. X equal to 4. I'm finding both x and y intercepts so that I know how my line, where this line touches x-axis and y-axis. So it touches y-axis at negative 4, and then it touches x-axis at positive 4. So this is the line. So now you approximate the solutions. So this one, this is the solution from here. This is one solution, and you can see this is another solution. This is another solution. So it is approximately 1.85, and this is approximately 5.2. Anyways, they're asking us approximate solutions. 1.8 is one solution and 5.2 is another solution. And the next one here, the table gives us about 6 terms of a sequence. Prove algebraically sum of any two consecutive terms. So take any two consecutive terms and try to understand the pattern here. So if you understand the pattern between these two, if first number is x, second number is 1 more than the first number, divided by 2 is common for every term. And take any two. So if I take this one, I will understand. We would try to understand how the pattern, what the pattern is between this one and the next term. You can see that this term has repeated. So x plus 1 has been repeated. And next number is 1 more than this. So this is x plus 2, this divided by 2. They're asking us to prove this sum is always a square number, meaning we need to simplify this. So I would write this as x times x plus 1 plus x plus 1 times x plus 2 divided by 2, because common denominator. And then from this, I would factor out x plus 1. If I factor out x plus 1, inside you have, so when I factor out x plus 1, you divide this by x plus 1, you would left with x. You would divide this by x plus 1, this whole thing, you would left with x plus 2 divided by 2. And you have x plus 1 times 2x plus 2 divided by 2. And even if you simplify, this is x plus 1 times, you can factor out 2 from here, 2 times x plus 1 divided by 2. So you can reduce this 2 and this 2 because they are in multiplication, but don't do if they are in addition. So this is equal to x plus 1 whole square. X plus 1 times x plus 1 is x plus 1 whole square. So I'll write here, this is equal to x plus 1 whole square. We proved that the result is always a square number. And the next one, simplify this part. So see, you can, this is cubed. So y plus 3 times y plus 3 times y plus 3, because this is cubed, divided by, this is y plus 3 times y plus 3. So this and this is gone, which is 4 times y plus 3, which is 12, 4y plus 12 if you expand it. And the next one. So this is similar to the question which we have done before. This is exactly similar to this question. You have the written explanation for this. You can check your answer from the written explanation for 126. Question number 127. You can see that there is quite a few information there. The diagram shows, sorry for this bar, but I think, yeah, it's gone. So the diagram shows a sector OACB with center O, and the point C is the midpoint of arc AB. It is given that this point C is midpoint of this arc AB. The diagram also shows a hollow cone with vertex 0, the vertex O. The cone is formed by OA and OB. We can clearly see that this arc has been changed to this cone. If you fold this one into a cone shape, that is this, meaning the surface area of the cone should be equal to surface area of the surface area of this sector. So surface area of the sector, the formula for surface area of sector is angle divided by 360 times pi r square. But I will write times radius square because there is another radius here in this cone. Radius square is equal to pi times radius square is equal to, they gave us the surface area formula is pi times radius. I would say radius 1 because I said this is radius. Radius 1 times L. Remember this L meaning the slant height. L is slant height. You need to know that. Here they gave. This is L. You can see that this OA is L in our diagram. If you notice, OA is nothing but radius of this sector. So by using that information, I'm rewriting this theta divided by 360 times pi times radius is OA. We said OA square is equal to pi times this radius we don't know. I'll keep as it is r1 times L1 times L1. So, sorry, times L, I mean. So this length, this slant height is nothing but, we already said it is OA. Now, I will tidy up my equation a bit. I would divide both sides by pi. I would divide both sides by pi. If I do that, this is gone, this is gone. And also I would divide by OA both sides. If you divide by OA, this becomes just OA and this is gone. If you rewrite the equation, angle divided by 360 times OA is equal to R1. So here, in order to find this angle theta, we need to know what is OA and what is radius. This is R1, radius of the cone. Let us see if there is any other information given in the question to find radius of the cone and also the slant height. If you look at this information, the cone has volume 56.8 centimeter cube. So volume of cone, they gave us formula 1 divided by 3 pi, I would say R1 square times height. They gave 3.6, that is equal to 56.8. If you simplify this, so I would simplify 3.6 divided by 3, which is 1.2. This radius 1 square is equal to, if I divide by pi and divide by 1.2 both sides, 56.8 divided by 1.2 times pi. So I'm dividing by pi and dividing by 1.2 both sides. I would use calculator and get this value. So 56.8 divided by 1.2 pi is equal to 148. And you find square root of it. So you find square root, I'll put the brackets here, 56.8 divided by 1.2 pi, which is equal to 15. See brackets. If you don't put the brackets, you are getting a different number. So 15.6, that is equal to radius square. And then I would square root of the answer, which is 3.88. So radius square was 15 point something. Radius is 3.88. We got radius is 3.88. We got this one. Radius is 3.88. Still, we don't know what is OA. To find OA, I would form a right angle triangle here. Whenever cone is involved, this right angle triangle comes into picture if the question is involved about slant height. We know if this is 3.88, this is also 3.88, this is also 3.88, and they gave us height is 3.6. And then if you use the Pythagoras theorem, 3.88 square, I will do 3 point, so answer square plus 3.6 whole square, 3.6 square is equal to this value, and you find a square root of answer, which would be 5.294. I'm writing 5.294 here. I'm not rounding it. I'm writing as many decimals as possible. I got this one. So you got radius. You got radius. Radius is 3.88, and then OA, we got 5.294 is equal to angle divided by 360. So solve for theta. To solve for theta, you multiply by 360 both sides. You multiply by 360 both sides. You multiply by 360 both sides. So if you multiply by 360, this is gone. This becomes times by 360. And then you divide by 5.294. You divide by 5.294. If you divide by 5.294, this is gone. You have this one, 5.294. So that is equal to theta. I will put that in the calculator quickly. 3.88. So 3.88 times 360 divided by 5.294. You would get 263.84. So this theta we got 263.84, which is 264 degrees. 264 degrees. I hope this is fine. Otherwise, please watch the video again at your own pace. And the next one, you have a parallelogram given. In this parallelogram, first I would label them. If I start labeling it, OX is A, so this is A, and OY is B. This is B. P is the point on OX such that OP to PX is 1 to 2. If this is A, if the total length is A, and if this is divided into 1 to 2, this is 1/3 of A, and this is 2/3 of A. And similarly, OR to RY, they gave 1 to 3. So OR is one part, OR is one part, RY is 4 parts. Then this is 1/4 of the total length B, and this part is, 1 and 3, right? And this part is 3/4 of B. So I'm writing here OR is 1/4 of B and RY is 3/4 of B. And similarly, OP is 1/3 of A and PX is 2/3 of A. In the exam, you don't need to write this. Just for your understanding, I'm writing it. Now, question is asking for ZP to ZR. So Z to P. If you see to go from Z to P, you need to travel Z to O and O to P. So to travel from Z to P, I need to travel Z to O and then O to P. But Z to O is not given, but I know that Z to O is exactly same as Y to X. I'm writing it as Y to X plus O to P, I know that already, which is 1/3 of A. Y to X, to reach from Y to X, I would take this whole path Y to O. I would take this whole path Y to O. We know O to Y is B. Y to O is going to be minus B. So I would reach O first and then O to and O to X. To reach from Y to X, I would reach to O and then O to X plus A is equal, plus 1/3 of A. If you simplify this, 1/3 of A plus A, it is 4/3 of A minus B. And the second part, so this is ZP, and now we need ZR. To go from Z to R, so to go from Z to R, again, I would take this path, Z to O, I'm writing here, Z to R, I would go, again, Z to O plus O to R. Z to O we already calculated. This one is Z to O minus B plus A plus O to R. O to R is 1/4 of B. If you simplify this, 1/4 of b minus 1b, if you simplify 1/4 of b minus 1b, you have to make the denominator same. So times it by 4 divided by 4. Common denominator, we have common denominator minus, so 1b minus 4b, which is minus 3b. So minus 3b divided by 4 plus a. Now finally we need to find what is ZP to ZR, which is nothing but ZP divided by ZR. ZP is 4/3 of A minus B divided by minus 3/4 of B minus 3/4 of B plus A. Again, in order to make both in order to get rid of the fraction here and here, the common number I would think of is 12. I would multiply with 12. So if you multiply to the numerator, you need to multiply same number to the denominator. I'm multiplying by 12 because this 3 can be reduced, this 4 can be reduced. When you multiply by 12, when you expand it, it becomes, so it becomes 4/3 of 12. 4/3 of 12 is, this can be reduced by 4. So this is 16a minus 12b divided by, if you multiply by 12 here, minus 3/4 times 12, which is 4 times 3. So minus 9b, which is minus 9b plus 12a. Still, you can take something common here. I would take 4 common from these two. If I take 4 common, I would have 4a minus 3b. I would take 3 common from this. If I take 3 common, I have minus 3b. I'm writing minus 3b here. And 4a, I'm writing 4a here. You can see that this is gone. The final answer is 4/3. And the next one, we got the sketches of y equal to a power b, y equal to a to the power x and y equal to b to the power of x. And you can see that points B and C lie on the horizontal line, y equal to k. That's why, so this is k, this is also k. Work out the values of a, b, and k. For such questions, uh, you would start with the information which you already have, the full information. As in, we know that this curve is passing through point A, and the curve is y equal to, a to the power of x. As you know, this curve is passing through 3, 8. The moment you see some line or curve is passing through a point, you replace this as x and you replace this as y. 8 equals to a to the power x. So I'm writing a as it is, x is 3. From this, you can what raised to, so I would write 8 as 2 cube equal to a cube, and then a equals to 2. We got a equals to 2. And the next one, obviously, we need to use this one to find value of b. So I'm writing y equal to b to the power of x. And before I do this one, as I got this a equal to 2, I would use this one to find this point. See, whenever you have a curve equation and you have a point and one value is missing in the point like this, and then you plug in this point in the curve and then you can get that value. So for now, I would use the same equation. When a equal to 2, This becomes 2 to the power of x. And if I use this one, y value is k equal to 2 to the power, x value is 6. So k equal to 64. Now we got value of k, so this point would become 2 comma 64. Now I would use the second equation, y equal to b to the power of x. I got y as 64, y as 64, b to the power x. So we got x is 2. So b square is 64, then b value has to be positive 8. Generally it can be negative 8 and positive 8, but here you see it is in the first quadrant, so b has to be positive 8. Now we got b as 8 and we got already k as 64. And part B, another graph equation, we got y equals to 5 to the power of x, and it is given this point is on this graph. In the examination, whenever you see some point is on one graph or some point is on line, you replace this as x value, this as y value. So y value is p root 5 equal to 5 to the power x value is 3.5. So p root 5, sorry, this is p root 5. As this is in exponent form, I would prefer writing this in exponent form. P times 5 to the power of half is equal to 5 to the power 3.5. From this, I would divide by 5 to the power of half both sides. I would divide by 5 to the power of half both sides. Then on the left side, you have P equal to 5 to the power 3.5 divided by 5 to the power of half is 0.5. So if you use the rule a to the power m divided by a to the power n, this is m minus n. So 5 to the power 3.5 minus 0.5, which is just 3. So p value is going to be 125. Next one. A straight line has equation x minus y is equal to 3, and the curve has, this is the curve equation. Whenever you see two equations and the trigger word is intersect. Whenever you see intersect, you always replace one equation in another equation. To replace one equation in another equation, this, if my equation is in this form, that is not helpful to me. I have to make one of the letters as the subject. In this case, so x minus y equal to 3, I can make either x as the subject or y as the subject. What I would prefer is I would add y both sides. So x equal to y plus 3. This is easier in this case because subtracting x, you can do that, but you will end up with negative y. Again, unnecessary complications there. You replace this one in this equation. So I'm doing that calculation here. 3 times y plus 3 whole square minus y I'm writing as it is. Our intention is making the equation into one letter. So I already replaced x as y plus 3 and minus y square you keep as it is. X is y plus 3 and times y is equal to 9. So this is interesting one. A plus b whole square, you can either expand it, or you can use this formula directly. A square plus 2ab plus b square. So 3 times a square is y square plus 2ab, 2 times y times 3, 2 times y times 3. So 2 times 3 is 6, 6y plus b square is 9 minus y square plus y square. So I'm expanding this one. I wrote this one as it is. Plus 3y is equal to 9. And I would multiply this inside, expand it. I get rid of this one, 3y square plus 18y plus 9 times 3 is 27. And this minus y square plus y square, you can cancel that out. plus 3y is equal to 9. So if you tidy up, this is 3y square, 18y plus 3y, which is 21y. And if you subtract 9 both sides, and you get 27 minus 9, which is 18, equal to, if you subtract 9 here, it becomes 0. And then you divide by 3, y square. If you divide each of them by 3, this is just y square. And if you divide this by 3, 7y plus 6 is equal to 0. This would be y plus 1 and y plus 6. So you need to find the coordinates of midpoint of P comma Q. So this line and this curve, something like this, they meet at this point and this point. This is P, this is Q. There are 2 points. We need to find the midpoint of this. So from this, I can get the y values. If you equate this to 0, y plus 1 is equal to 0, then y equal to negative 1. If you equate this to 0, so y plus 6 equal to 0, you get y equal to negative 6. And this is not enough for, so we need a point. So to get a point, you need x values as well. So I'm going to place this somewhere here. You have y equals to negative 1 and y equals to negative 6. If you replace y is negative 1 in any of the equations, I would choose this one. That is easier one. You can choose this one or this one. X equal to minus 1 plus 3, which is 2. If you replace y is negative 6, x equal to negative 6 plus 3, which is negative 3. So the point is 2 comma negative 1 and negative 3 comma negative 6. And this is P, this is Q. Question is asking you to find the midpoint. To find the midpoint, you add them divided by 2. So 2 minus 3 divided by 2, which is negative half, comma, you add y values, which is negative 7 divided by 2. You can also write in decimals, that is fine. That's what question is asking for. Next one. This circle equation thing, we have done quite a few questions before. Go back to the question, go back to the ones which we have done, and you can, maybe decimals are there. I'll do this one also for you. So we got x square plus y square is, we got x square, this is circle equation. We got x square plus y square is 12.25. And coordinates of P, 2.1 comma 2.8. And L is the tangent at point P. So this is the tangent at point P. You need to find the equation of this line. To find the equation of this line, whenever you need an equation of a line, you need gradient. You need to know what is gradient. And you need to know the point, the line which is the line it is passing through. We know already the point is 2 comma 1 comma 2.8, but still we don't know the gradient. To find the gradient, we use always this radius thing. Always these questions use the radius thing. So you find, to find the gradient of this, you find difference between x coordinates, sorry, difference between y coordinates. Gradient of this line is difference between y coordinates, which is 2.8, divided by difference in x coordinates, which is 2.1. So this becomes, if you divide this one, if you multiply by 10, both of them, it becomes 28 divided by 21. And if you simplify, that is 7 times 4 and 4 times 3. 7 times 3. So this gradient is 4 divided by 3. This perpendicular gradient is, it is going to be, you change the sign and then you flip the fraction. And you write y equals to mx plus c, y equal to mx plus c, and then you have the point here, 2.8 is equal to gradient negative 3 divided by 4 times x is 2.1 plus c. to find the value of C, you can put this in the calculator. Oh, yeah, you can put this in the calculator and subtract it. So I would use the calculator 3/4 of. So I would go to, so I need 3/4 of 2.1. So 3 divided by 4 times 2.1, which gives me 1.575. And if I move that to other side, you add that to 2.8. If you add that to 2.8, that gives you 4.375. Sorry, yep. So C would become 4.375. So I would multiply. So now I would replace M value and C value. Y equals to gradient is -3 divided by 4 x plus C is 4.375. And if you see, question is asking us to write in terms of this, and all of them should be integers. First, what I would do is I would multiply with 4. So it becomes 4y is equal to -3x plus this 4.375 times 4. If I move this to this side, it becomes 3x. If I add 3x both sides, 3x plus 4y is equal to 4.375 times 4. So I'll go to the calculator, times by 4, it is 17.5. It is 17.5. Now I can clearly see that by multiplying 2 both sides, I can get all of them as integers. So this is 6x plus 8y is equal to 17.5 is 35. Okay, this is the final answer.